Okay, welcome everybody to a new episode of MasterClass. Happy March Madness Eve to those who celebrate. Me as a University of Utah alum and fan, it's a sad time. It's a long 7 years in the desert. But anyway, want to get started. And this is episode 4 now of MasterClass. And so if you've been following us from the beginning, like a Netflix series, this is where the plot twists really start to happen, so stay tuned. And part of today's plot twist is I've brought in my CMO, Dave Taylor, and he's recently rejoined Impartner, and he's joined the Boomerang Club that I started 7 years ago when I boomeranged myself back to Impartner after a short stint away. And Dave came back to us late last year for round 2 of being Impartner CMO, and is here today on this episode, not only due to his vast knowledge and expertise on the topic of partner marketing, but also because he's undefeated in making me laugh during his presentations. Very entertaining. And that's what's most important, isn't it?
That's the most important thing.
It is the very most important thing. So also part of our starring cast today is Tom Perry. And when he's not acting as a taxi service for his teenage kids on the weekend, he is the CEO of Sherpa. And Sherpa is a global channel agency. It's really focused on execution. In fact, Sherpa has helped hundreds of companies optimize and execute channel marketing campaigns. So when we were thinking of who to bring on a masterclass, he fits exactly into the kind of content and expertise that we love to have contribute here. And so we really appreciate you taking the time to join us today, Tom. So speaking of the topic, in case it's not staring at you from whichever platform you're joining us from, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever, it should say how to scale demand marketing with your partners. So this is an important topic, and I still think there's a lot of people that are new to this approach and could use some guidance and best practices. So this is very timely. For example, just a couple of weeks ago, I was on my European tour visiting with different customers across the EMEA region. And I had a channel leader ask me, why can't I just use Marketo and my direct marketing team to execute our co-marketing strategy with our partners? And at that moment, I could just picture the disappointment on Tom's face as that approach could be acceptable. So anyway, I've taken up enough time with my intro. Tom, I want to turn it over to you. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Trevor, and great to be with you here from the UK. Good afternoon if you are joining Europe, and good morning if you are in the US of A. It's the first time I've ever been introduced as a plot twist, and I think I like it. So for those who don't know me, my name's Tom Perry. I'm the founder and CEO of Sherpa. I've been running Sherpa for 10 years. And in this arena of creating demand alongside partners, we've done everything at Sherpa from single bits of content right through to global ABM programs managed with partners. And all sorts of partners have come across our path on the journey we've been on. We've got experience with VARs, VADs, vendors, agents, MSPs, MSSPs, GSIs, RSIs. We've seen a lot, but the core of Sherpa's work has always been around trying to work with our vendor clients on creating demand, and that's what I want to take you through today. And if we can just move on to the next slide, it's traditionally. The partner communities have demanded leads and opportunity from their vendors, and that's been a fairly well-trodden, well-orchestrated set of activities around MDF, whatever that looks like, and wherever it's owned, for about the 25 years, and we don't think it's changed much. But I think now we are entering an era of more sophistication required of vendors from their partners, but also that almost increase in power from partner communities asking for different levels of support from their vendors and the people they choose to partner with. And so, we're looking for more structure and integrated programs. It can't just be about lead transfer. There are more elements, most certainly, to this. And if we just build this one out, 3 more, there is certainly the case that vendors should be upskilling partners, and that should be a byproduct and sit squarely alongside what you're doing in demand creation with partners. You want visibility as a vendor of spend effectiveness. There's got to be more to it in terms of applying technology, applying AI, maybe machine learning to this whole partner and demand creation environment for best effect. And I think the one of these 4 objectives, and we talked to a lot of vendors about these objectives, and what we're going to major on today is around having something that scales. And we are delighted to be here with our partner, Impartner, who are going to bring some of the technology aspects to this today. But now I want to just move on to talk a little bit about the environment in which we find ourselves, just as a scene set. We know that everything has become digital. Partners have been asked to digitize quickly, change their marketing methods, change their methods of demand, and the whole digital journey is much more prevalent. And I think our friend Jay McBain calls this getting away from the fishbowl. We're not traipsing around trade shows anymore, asking people to put business cards in fish bowls. We do see a bit of it, but we're very, very digital. And so that environment has meant that the partner communities, ecosystems, traditional channels, however you describe it, have had to adapt their models and keep up in terms of the digital tactics that they are bringing to market. And most certainly, they need the assistance of their vendor partners to enact the types of tactic that is going to align to a buyer's journey now. And here we see we've got paid social, content syndication, we've got LinkedIn, we've got Google search and display, email. That digital environment is hard for a partner to invest in full scale, full throttle, but it's something they need to do. And I think that is what's required there is a blend of services that can be either in-house or with a company like ourselves, but also the right blend of technology that is pushing the boundaries of creating demand for partners. But if we also add in, and again, I've borrowed this from our friends at Canalys and Jay, there are different types of partner. 5 years ago, I was having, if I was having this conversation, we'd be talking about the group in the middle, the 500,000 that, are in the reseller space. They need support. They go to market a singular way. It's quite easy. But we had this proliferation of different types of partner. And so how do you create programs that support different types of partners who are trying to do different types of activity? And that's what I want to go through now. So here at Sherpa, we know that one size does not fit all, most certainly, of program. You can have very involved high-end account-based marketing programs. You can have digital marketing programs. You can have enablement programs. There are a number, and I will touch on some of these later. But we know that the support models required are changing and adapting. And that puts us very much into the hands of technology platforms like Impartner to assist us on that journey. And what we're talking about really is this is the beginning of just showing how we do things here at Sherpa with our clients when we're asked to come in and look at creating demand at scale. Keyword at scale. We go through a 3-step process. First is to assess. Second is around the investment required, and then the third step is around managing it. And really, the first step I want to talk about here, which is assessment. Sherpa will always start with a vendor and looking at a program and taking it on and making it fit for purpose in measuring, and there's a it's a dreadful phrase in here, marketing investability, and I think we've made that up. But what we want to do is, you don't want to just stand up a big demand generation program and open it to all partners. And so a level of partner assessment is really important. We have a partner assessment product that looks at 19 attributes across a partner community, and it measures them and correlates between some of those attributes to drive out a score that allows you to see and visualize. Now, we've done this from sort of 150 partners up to 30,000. It depends. You can assess big groups of partners for their marketing skills, their marketing maturity, and also you can bring revenue into that. And this is just a screenshot from the product. You've got marketing signals, engagement signals, and enablement signals. And the reason you do this level of assessment is to then make a decision about marketing investment, because you cannot invest in every partner. And traditionally, we've had a self-serve model. At the bottom of that pyramid, we've had some kind of mid-range support. At the top, we've had what an agency like Sherpa would call white glove, all points in between. But which partners do you put into which service? Do you leave it up to them just to make that decision on their own, or do you actually bring a bit more science to the process and say, okay, we've had a look at these attributes across the channel, and this is what it's showing us. So if we just go on one slide here, we can see that this, and sorry, this is a complete eye test, but it's the colors I want you to think about here, where we've got a visualization of attributes of a partner, and we can, if you don't want to go totally self-serve, you can get to a per partner view with revenue, a marketing ability score that shows you which partners are ready for scale and ready for which level of support. And visualizing that community is a great thing to do internally. It's like, okay, who's going to get our investment this quarter, this half, this year? This tool we use here at the beginning, and it tells you which partners to then target, communicate with, create services for, and then we move into a different phase. And actually, we get down to individual account planning in this area. So what we're trying to do is, I want to now just move into some of the programs that, or elements of a demand marketing program that you could look to put in place. I've got 7 here today, and really we split and whether this sits under a concierge banner or it sits under a bureau of services with a name, there's 2 jobs to do with partners, whatever types they are. One is enabling them, and because you want to upskill partners, but the second piece is create demand for them. And really, what you're looking at is in the top left here is creating a program, designing something that is individual to your company and your solution. And then these are 7 of around 15 or 16 that you can put into a service that is geared towards partners and let them choose, and we can also show them on the assessment. So here we have joint value proposition work, which we think is that sort of first task, new partner or updating partner skills, where vendor and partner, we create some assets to go to market together. We then have opportunity marketing, which is very much demand generation. We have nurturing enablement. I think partners are fantastic at receiving leads. They're not so hot on nurturing leads longer term. So that whole nurturing enablement is something we look at. We certainly look at verticalized partner campaigns. The big strength still of partners is their vertical specializations. They bring that to the party. We also look at the self-serve element, which is around kits and a little bit of advisory on how to use them, how-to guides. We do some virtual event support. And then this managed partner marketing. And managed partner marketing takes a bit of a lift. It takes a little bit of a lift in time and hours and services. And you may have partner marketing managers internally. If not, there are organizations such as ourselves who will give you a virtual partner marketing manager, because we know that there is a set of tasks that need to be undertaken. And here we've got PRM tasks, account management, MDF processing, right through to managing and talking to the partner. But the good news is that, things have moved on. And one of the big promises of the technology, and something Dave's going to talk about, is reducing or eliminating the bottom of this slide. You are taking time out of the the partner marketing management piece in order to provide more scale and bring more partners into the fold in terms of getting them to run campaigns. And obviously there's a continuous loop using the technology where you are visualizing the success of campaigns. So to summarize this slide, the 7 at the top can be almost anything. The newer things we're being asked to do are around marketing programs for SaaS, for instance, which are very different than sort of net new campaigns. That life cycle marketing, how do we support, yes, the first 30 days of a new customer journey, but the first quarter, the first half, the first year, the renewal cycle. That, for instance, that's not on here, but it's certainly something that we're seeing more of. And I think the big promise here of the tech and services wrap is that kind of, and call it the democratization of partner marketing. We can level the playing field a little bit, right? We can bring more partners into the fold who don't necessarily have marketing resources at hand waiting for your solution and your vendor marketing program to kick in and support them. So I think there is in terms of scale, we're moving into that arena now where we just want to talk about the tech. So that leveling of the playfield using the tech is really, really important. But what does it look like? So, we know that I'm not going to talk through this one. I'll save you that. Campaigns can be complex, right? And they are normally multi-tactic. They are normally optimized. There is to and fro. There is a service that's needed at the outside. And it might have BDR. It might not. It might be lead purchase. It might be content syndication. Whatever they are, technology now allows you to pick off the best parts of a campaign that can be automated. And I just want to show you one very quick journey around and what we're doing. So if we look at through TCMA, through channel marketing automation and Google Ads, which we are running successfully with our friends at Impartner, there's 3 stages. There is the mechanism and the tool. There is the adoption, and partner adoption is an absolutely key part of this setup. And then there is the amplification and the scale you need. So we will look, as I've said right at the outset, at the skills of the partner. In that assessment service, we're going to say, do they have the necessary, let's say, social accounts to involve themselves in something that we want to scale to hundreds of partners here? What does the content look like in the middle? That's on somebody like Sherpa. And then how do we deploy it onto the platform and then launch to partners as we move around, 3 o'clock? And then what does it look like? What touch and what support do partners need? Because what we want to get to is the top right, where with a managed adoption process, content creation, partner assessment, and putting the right partners into this type of program, we are able to enjoy all of the benefits of, let's say, Google Ad for Partners or partner marketing automation. And this definitely requires a lockstep between tech and service. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Dave, who is going to talk about, and I will come back to that one at the end if I may, Trevor. Yeah, sorry. Okay, no problem. That's all right.
Tom, thanks. I love all of that. I'm going to start using your term. What was it? Marketing investability. Was that what I'm going to start using that? Very clearly there's an awful lot of alignment between Impartner as a vendor and our partner community that Sherpa is in. We love working with them. Such a powerful partner and have been for a long time. And I'll talk more about that in a couple of slides. First of all, just a terminology update. You heard Tom on a couple of the slides talk about PMA or partner marketing automation. I just want to clarify that it really is what we used to think of as TCMA, through channel marketing automation. I know most analyst firms are still TCMA focused, And we still call our product TCMA, but partner marketing automation tends to capture more than just marketing through your channel partners. It captures marketing to your channel partners, with your channel partners, on behalf of your channel partners, because as Tom rightly points out, some of them just don't have, the capability. They don't have that marketing investability quotient that they would need to have in order to become, self-sufficient. And so you'll hear us use that term PMA. Thanks, Rip. Hey, my overall message is this. What's the key to surviving the macroeconomic condition that we're all dealing with right now in 2023? I really think it's efficiency. And efficiency for me is both a combination of return on investment and revenue growth, but also making sure that not just, if I spend $1, I get $2, but if I spend $1 and don't have to invest a lot of time and get $2, I'm running efficiently. Everybody I know, Impartner, Sherpa, a lot of our mutual customers are looking at their spend and trying to rationalize where those dollars or pounds are being spent, and making sure that they're generating the result that they're looking for from those. And the result for many of them is ROI or just revenue, but I categorize that all as being efficiency. There are some things that tend to hold people back a little bit in really kind of investing heavily into partner marketing automation. I don't want to position this as being kind of the solution to everything, but I think if we can address 4 critical areas, I think we can help people accelerate their revenue growth through the partner community. One is simply a lack of resources. And again, this is the investability. How good is my partner community and my individual partners? And Tom, you made a really good point on that. I know that a lot of companies that we work with are actually moving away from kind of the metal tiers, gold, silver, platinum, et cetera. But I do see a lot that are actually doing tiering based on marketing capability rather than, the old one of, just where's my revenue coming from? So, I think that being able to tier your partners either internally or externally to them, I really think it makes a lot of sense to understand what their capability level is. I think a lot of times we end up with poor alignment between the vendor and the partner. I can tell you that in a partner, we're very fortunate to have people like Sherpa, because as you can see from the way that, Tom's message and my message kind of blend together, we feel very aligned with them. What we feel is important really mirrors what Tom and his team are seeing as being important out in the field. That type of alignment is not easy to get to, but there are some tips and tricks we'll share in just a sec. You need automation for scale. And a lot of people tend to have brand control worries about going to market through and with channel partners. And on my next slide, I'll give you my brand control worry. A few companies ago, I worked at a Seattle-based firewall company called WatchGuard. And our mascot, if you will, was this ferocious red lion. Tom, I don't know if you knew, but we actually did a campaign in London where the taxi cabs had our ferocious red lion on the side, and we've animated him so that he roars. And the whole point behind this was we're scaring hackers away from your environment. Now, I had a couple of channel partners that wanted to do marketing campaigns with this, and Trevor will show you, the first one was, at a trade show, one of our partners spent their MDF budget buying these very attractive inflatable red Simba dolls to hand out. It is very cute. I have to confess, I did bring one home for my kids, but it's not quite the same persona that we were trying to convey. And then the next one is almost as bad, where this is one of our partners that sells into the educational space. They took a school desk, put a firewall on it, and then cut out a picture of my ferocious red lion. This, I need to have confidence that when I go to market through or with my partners, they're going to have some guidelines and some branding that they'll be able to respect. So I looked at this and I did a quick rundown on what my personal, as a vendor, what's my personal marketing budget allocated to this year. And 60% of my budget so far, don't tell anybody at Google, they'll get really excited, but that's Google and it's paid social and it's Bing. We actually advertise with Bing, and we do a couple other campaigns. So we look at a lot of that spend as being hugely generating in the ROI space for us. So I stick a bunch of my money into paid digital ads. In my humble opinion, paid media and paid digital ads is the most powerful marketing tool of the decade. I really think that's where people are driving their businesses right now. And I've got events, and I've got email campaigns and content, and the other there, that 3%, that's Trevor's salary. And then there's 1% that's kind of everything else. So that's me as a vendor. The way my partners, or the way your partners probably spend their money on the next one, 50% of MDF money goes unspent. You've allocated money to your channel partners, and they simply don't have the ability or the understanding or the desire to do anything with that. But research does show that 50% of allocated MDF money goes unspent. Okay, now I'm a corporate marketing person, and if my channel partners don't spend that money, it doesn't disappear. It comes back into my budget, and I'm able to go spend it on other things that I care about. But I set that money aside for them very specifically. 30% on events, but they think about events a little bit differently than I do. Events for my channel partners and for your channel partners tend to be box seats at at Arsenal Football Club, or at some NBA playoff, or take that and run a bracket for March Madness. So I think their events again are more kind of relationship management and less demand generation. And then telemarketing, email, etc. So it is interesting to me that there's less alignment between what I think is important from a marketing perspective and what my partners think. Let's go. This is my take as to what PMA solutions should look like and what they shouldn't look like. And really, this is just a more complicated way of saying what Tom said so simply, which is it all depends on assessing the capability of the individual partner. So modern PMA solutions include vast amounts of automation and even some AI to help kind of optimize the spend, where you can run fully automated and co-branded campaigns on behalf of or together with your partners. And my little graph there at the bottom, this is kind of the long tail of my partner community. And you can see in the TCMA Asaurus, where we're offering people the ability to kind of prepare their own dinner, there are some large partners that are able to do that. Some of our partners, Sherpa being a perfect example of them, but some of our partners and some of your partners have the ability to do this. If you go to market through CDW or SHI or Insight or some of these big players, they've got great marketing departments. By the way, they also support 2,500 different brands rather than just you. And so they're spreading that resource over a very large vendor base. What we think PMA really makes possible is that delivery of the Hello Fresh box, where here's a campaign. All you need to do is drop it in the frying pan, put it on high for 45 seconds, and you've got a campaign that's ready to launch. And to us, it's that automation. It's that recognizing all of the different and assessing the varying skills of your channel partners. And I'm going to say expand this into all layers of your funnel. We'll talk about that next, and optimize around paid media. Keep going. So this, I think, is, again, a kind of a different way of saying one of the things that I took out of Tom's pitch, which is a lot of partners come into your partner community with a Rolodex. I'm sorry, that's a term that most of you probably don't remember because it was a very long time ago, but they come in with a list of contacts that they've done business with over the last 5 or 10 years, right? And the first thing that vendors tend to do is kind of optimize around that partner's Rolodex. Hey, you just brought 25 new companies into my potential prospect list that I didn't have access to before. I would like you to go market my solution to those 25 companies, and let's try and harvest as much of that demand as we can. The mistake I think a lot of people make, if you just want to pop back one slide, the mistake I think a lot of people make is once they've done that harvesting of the existing account list, they kind of discard that partner. They set them to one side. I really think that there are ways to be smarter about that. The next step down, that tapping into paid media to expand at the top of the funnel, that's me saying, yes, I'd love to harvest the 25 accounts that you've been selling to for the last 5 or 10 years, but why don't we go build another list of 25 more that kind of match the profile that you've been selling into? And for me, paid media is a great way to do that. A lot of people that use true kind of TCMA solutions, that through channel marketing, tend to do it from an email perspective. I'm suggesting that email really is a great way to do that closed loop nurturing process. But if you want to grow your contact list and your partner's contact list, there is no more powerful tool than paid media. I also think it's critically important to market to your partners, but we don't have a lot of time to get into that. Let's keep going. Okay, so this is what I consider to be a closed loop demand management system. This is what Impartner provides, and I think all other vendors in the TCMA space. If there's a vendor that has a PMA/TCMA solution, but they don't have the ability to track and manage that demand flow, then they're doing kind of half the puzzle. But for us, we allocate the MDF. We offer this box of campaigns that are kind of pre-built, so you don't end up with cute red inflatable Simba dolls. We move into partner execution. When the deal is closed won, we attribute that revenue back to the partner, back to the campaign, back to the MDF spend, whatever. And again, as I said, some of our partners have the ability, some of your partners have the ability to handle that full loop. For those that don't, Sherpa does it for you, right? They'll build out the campaigns, they'll build the menu of campaigns, and they'll step even into the execution space. You know, you take the MDF money, you work with Tom and Pascal and the team, you get the campaigns up and running, closed won, revenue gets attributed back to you, and it just keeps rolling. Go ahead. Okay, advanced lead management. I dropped a screenshot into the slides. We're not going to talk through it, but this is what it looks like to me in a modern channel management solution. When you're looking at what deals do I have, what leads came to the partner from the vendor, what deals has the partner generated that they want to register back with the vendor, and what's the current status of those. And if you can't track all that, you've got the wrong solution. Keep going. Paid media. I have to just tell you, I know it sounds to you like I'm talking about things that I think are important because Impartner offers them, but I want to convince you that it's actually the opposite. We do these things because we feel they're critically important in the market, and this paid media approach, to me, is one of the most revolutionary and powerful tools that you can bring to bear. Tom talked about it in his presentation as well. I think he and I align very much that one of the reasons people tend to stay away from paid media is if you're not careful, you'll end up bidding against your partners. You'll escalate your bid prices. You'll drive your ROI down and your cost per conversion up. Impartner, working with Google, has put together a program that the Sherpa team can kind of walk you through that allows you to unlock the power of that paid media campaign in your partner community without ending up bidding against each other with geo segmenting, et cetera. In my opinion, it's one of the most powerful things. And again, on this one, what I'm trying to say is not, hey, let's talk long-term strategies for going to market through the indirect channel. I'm saying, you know what you should do today to run a very efficient 2023? You should work on building out a closed loop demand management system. You should nurture your existing contacts, and you should totally tap into paid media to drive top of funnel content. All right. The last one, that driving partner engagement, I threw this in just to make the point that a lot of partners feel disengaged and need to be brought into the fold. A lot of the customers that we work with measure partner success by engagement, number of logins to the portal, number of interactions, number of pieces of content that are used. The question I have for you is, if somebody has disengaged from your partner program, if they've stepped away from your partner portal and haven't logged in a long time, how do you get them back in? How do you bring them back? I think that content such as newsletters, I think things like that work beautifully to get outside the portal, grab people, by the scruff of the neck and drag them back in and re-engage them. You got a new product you're launching that you think is appropriate to one segment of your partner community, stick it in a newsletter and get it in their inbox and make them click on it and bring them back to the portal where you can give them more content and set up more campaigns. Keep going, Trev.
I think that's the end of your
That is it.
there.
Tom, what did you think? You got any final comments to make on that?
No, thanks, Dave. And I think good stuff. What we see when we've been talking to clients about let's go straight to the partner marketing automation and the Google Ads service, because it's a big part. It's a unique, but it very much pushes partners into an arena where I think you've got to do two things. One, you've got to assess whether they're the right partner to join that piece of your program, right? And I don't want to keep boring people with assessment, but it's really important. But once you've done that, you've actually got a promotion and a convincing job to do as well. We are talking about a done for the partner service. It is done for them. Now, traditionally, MDF has been out to in. I'm going to go to this trade show, give me $5,000. This is very much, we'd like you to join something we're going to do for you. There are some steps you need to take. And so that adoption piece on the right-hand side of my sort of round the clock in anti-clockwise is a really key stage. So that adoption piece, choose the right partners, help them to understand how they can get there, and then let the very clever tech do it. And all the good things you're talking about, geofencing, lead distribution by whatever means you want, is really, really important. But there's a couple of steps to get there. And I think don't underestimate that. But once you've been through that, there is enormous power in being able to bring more and more partners. We're talking hundreds, not running an out to in Google Ads campaign that a partner suggests they want some help with. This is a very, very different set of activities and ultimately metrics as well.
But hey, listen, if you're one of those vendors that has 50% of your MDF being unused, get paid media campaigns set up and get your partners spending it in there, because it's completely additive to what you're doing. It's not, you're not bidding against anybody. It's, they're using your messaging, they're using your dollars, and they're pushing leads and demand back to you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Google Ads is, you hear it described as the dark arts, right? I mean, that it needs a level of skill, and lots of partners have it. I'm not saying they don't for a minute. What I am saying is that there are dollars, to your point, Dave, dollars being left on the table by partner and vendor, which could be used in a very sophisticated way. I mentioned that word right at the beginning. This is sophisticated partner demand creation, and I think that's the hurdle to get over. But it's out there if people want it.
Yeah, and so a couple questions. Jane asked a great question. What are some challenges? Really, it's an educational challenge and a capability challenge with much of the partner community. And then Haley says, does existing experience in the Google Ads translate well to the platform? Absolutely. In fact, to me, that it's almost a requirement, because what we're saying in essence to the partner community is, hey, you don't have to be the expert in it, because Haley Barnhill is an expert in it. And we're going to turn her loose on a bidding strategy that will benefit us as a vendor and you as the partner. So absolutely, Haley, I would say yes.
Yeah, I can I just echo that. It's a great question, Haley. Thank you for bringing it in. I think, if you have any Google Ads skill that you have, any of those nuances, tweaks, regionalizations, bidding strategies that can be brought on to this and then delivered for partners, and that's such a lift up for the partner in terms of their demand creation, because it's demand creation based on intent.
Yeah, great questions. Appreciate the content, guys. I know we're over time, but I do just want to throw one last thing in there. Just a quick, how is this actually used by a company? I love talking about the Xerox's story as they implemented this Google Ads for the channel feature. A lot of content on this slide describing their story, but the thing that jumps out to me is that quote by Isabel there, that they decreased their cost per lead by 75%. And that's because, like Dave said, they're not competing with their own partners for those Google Ads. And also they were able to get 25% of those Google leads to be converted to opportunities by their partners. So they're hot leads, they're quality, they're coming in, they're just building out that unknown audience that you're not going to get with just the social media follows and the email campaigns.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Trevor. Thanks, Tom.
Hey, my pleasure. Great to be with you from the other side of the pond. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you having you with us. There it is. And all right. And we got, one last little question here before we leave. I want to hit this one since it came in from Christine. How do you approach Google Ads across multiple countries and languages?
There is a way to do it. I'm happy to share that. I'm going to make this sound even more like a product pitch than it does already, and I don't want to do that. But if you want to reach out, Christine, on LinkedIn or something, just ping me. I'd love to talk that through with you. There is a good way to do it.
Yeah,
there is.
All right, that is our time, or more than that. So appreciate everybody that followed along, and we'll catch you next time.
Cheers.